Hey guys, what's up? I'm here. This is probably a shock to most of you because I've mentioned this person before and I've said that I'm not necessarily like a huge fan, but I figure since she's putting out a new album this year, at least so that's what she says, and I've, followed her enough over the years and heard all the albums to really, really solidify my list here, I thought why not rank Avril Lavigne's albums from worst to best, all six of them, with six being the worst and one being the best. There's only really like one album of hers that I would say I like absolutely hate. After that, it's just either like very 50-50 or they're just enjoyable to me, but keep in mind, this is my opinion. It will probably differ from yours, and that's okay. And yeah, I'm trying to be a little bit more quieter. My mom has COVID, no joke, so she's kind of stuck in her room, which is like right down the hall from me, and I don't want to, bother her while she's trying to rest, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I guess we should start it off with her biggest abomination first. This came out 2 years ago, and I really forgot that it came out in 2019. For some reason, I kept thinking, oh yeah, this came out in 2018. No, it was 2 years ago. And then I remember looking back at my worst albums of 2019 list, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It made, like, the worst, or at least it was in the honorable mention somehow. I just remember going like, it's been 6 years, and I get she's been through a lot, but this was not up to par for her. I mean, I do have some moments I like. I think the title track is a very nice acoustic track that really goes through the struggles that she went through with Lyme's disease and everything. Warriors is a nice a ballad again, and then I Fell in Love with the Devil, but that's her problem. Why is most of these songs ballad types now? I thought the whole point of her music was to be upbeat and fun, not necessarily like that in this case. And I know she's had her fair share of ballads, and I know what you're gonna say. There's a fun song on there, Dumb Blonde featuring Nicki Minaj. And to that I say, get that garbage out of my face. I don't ever want to hear that song again, especially with the fact that Nicki Minaj is on it. Like, Avril Lavigne with Nicki Minaj, I'm disappointed in her that she ended up going through that collab anyway, but here we are with her 2019 album just kind of being a dud, which is leading me to hope that 2021, if she does return to pop punk, it could be better than this. The second worst album of Avril Lavigne's, in my opinion, is her 2013 self-titled, so the one that came before Head Above Water. There was really only one song I remember enjoying, which was Bad Girl featuring Marilyn Manson. I felt like that was unique in itself, because Avril Lavigne and Marilyn Manson, again, not an unusual collab, but more unexpected. The fact that we see Marilyn Manson, a not necessarily cheery fellow, on a kind of cheery album in this case. This album to me again is one of her ones that's just very 50-50 with me. I feel like it's got its high points, but at the most part it's nothing that amazes me. And of course this is also the album that features Hello Kitty, so like, yeah, thanks for that, Chad Kroeger, but I mean, it's really all I gotta say about this album. It's another one where she definitely could have done better, but it's definitely steps ahead of her last release. Then what I believe to be her fourth best record, which would be Goodbye Lullaby in 2011, which comes before the self-titled. Yeah, sorry about that pattern to start off, but that was just my thing. You can definitely start seeing the change a little bit more from The Best Damn Thing to Goodbye Lullaby. And I do like songs like Wish You Were Here and Push, but again, there was the more pop-leaning songs that I guess I just really wasn't feeling that much. It felt like at that point in time she lost her edge and just wasn't the same Avril Lavigne that we had come to know, and I don't know, it didn't resonate with me as much as the top three that you're gonna see, but for the most part, again, I feel like it definitely has better traits than the self-titled, and I would definitely prefer it over Head Above Water. If you made me choose between Goodbye Lullaby and Head Above Water, I would choose to listen to Goodbye Lullaby all the way through. At number 3, we have Under My Skin, her second album in 2004, which followed up her big debut album. I think this was one of the more anticipated albums that had come out that year. We were waiting for her to follow up her debut when it came out. I remember people being like they were waiting for it, and it happened. Sorry, there was something going on outside that threw me off. Anyway, I do like My Happy Ending. That's been one of my favorite Avril Lavigne songs, I think. Just so catchy, definitely screams early 2000s pop punk, and then of course Together was a nice one as well. I think an underrated song of hers. It definitely has the emotion from the first record, but also shows a little bit more maturity from record 1 to 2 that I think, definitely makes it enjoyable, and you can definitely see the growth that was to come from her, even though the growth over the years has definitely, shifted in a downward direction. Again, you can only hope for the best. Her second best record to me is The Best Damn Thing in 2007, mainly because I was old enough to remember when this record came out, and she was a big thing at that point in time because her first 2 records had come out at that time, and she was everywhere, like you couldn't escape her. Now granted, this song has Girlfriend on it, which again, get that song away from me. I don't think I ever want to hear it again. I used to jam to it, but now I look back and go, I don't know why. For some reason, when Avril Lavigne tries to be sassy, I just laugh because it's just so not her. Like, she seems like a genuinely nice person. I feel like when she's more sincere with you, it's definitely a lot better, but that Girlfriend song, it was like, I don't know. But she did pull an Eddie Murphy in the music video by playing the multiple girlfriends of this dude, so kudos to her. Maybe you could have gave her an Oscar for that, but other than that, that song really has nothing going for it. When You're Gone has been another one that's always been one of my favorite of hers that's more, softer and whatnot, and this was definitely her taking more of the realm into the bubblegum pop kind of fusion that she was doing with her pop punk, but it still felt like Avril, and I think that's why if I were to go back and listen to one of her records from start to finish, it would be this one. Which leaves number 1 as her debut album, 2002's Let Go. I mean, when I went back and listened to all of her albums, this one had the most nostalgia to me, I guess. Even though, again, I don't necessarily find myself to be an Avril super fan or really, love any of her albums. I mean, the song has Skater Boy and Complicated on it, and that's really what it did for me. I also like the song Nobody's Fool, but those 2 songs in particular were like every pop punk kid's anthem back then if you weren't listening to Blink-182 or whatever. Who am I kidding? If you were listening to Avril Lavigne back in the day, you were listening to Blink-182. That's just what it was. It was just interesting hearing these songs from a female perspective in the pop punk community, because keep in mind, this was also pre-Paramore, so we really didn't have that voice in pop punk just yet. There was no Paramore, no Hey Monday that we could really go, oh, now we have the female perspective. Avril Lavigne was the first one to do that, and I don't know, I think it was definitely your typical pop punk album, a nice debut, one of the best debuts ever, even if just the 2000s, and to me, I don't want to say it still holds up to this day, but with pop punk kind of reviving itself, who knows? Maybe in a couple of years we might look back and go, still holds up to this day, and I think I would have to agree at that point. So, yeah, that's basically it for ranking all 6 of Avril Lavigne's albums from worst to best. You can tell me in the comments below, how would you rank her discography, because I can tell you your list, again, is probably going to look different from mine, and that's okay, because we all have different taste, and I have heard people over the years defend the self-titled, and over the past couple of years I've heard people defend Head Above Water. Even though there's not a whole lot to defend from that album, I'll give them that she went through a tough time and whatnot from Lyme disease. I understand that. But when the album's garbage, it's garbage, alright? I'm sorry, I can't get into that album. But, yeah, that does it for me. Stay safe out there, wear your mask, and until then, I will catch you all in the next one.